Hi everybody, it's Simone from our year in Bali. I love helping people relocate to Bali. Having been there myself with two kids for 2 years, we just want to make it much easier for everybody. And tonight I've got someone really special with me, and it's the Principal, Australian Independent School of Bali, Pak John. So John, thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to have a great conversation, a deep dive all about the amazing school that you're a principal at. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for meeting with me. I look
Yeah.
forward to telling you all about this great school.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously Australians love going to Bali, and it's super exciting that there is the Australian Independent School, which has been on the island for many, many years. And it's the only school that offers the Australian curriculum, and it's a super great choice for Australians and other people around the world to enjoy their Bali life. And so I'd love to start by asking you, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you become the principal of the Australian Independent School?
Sure. So I'm originally from Sydney, Australia, and I've had the luck and the privilege to live in Bali for the last 32 years. So before moving to Bali, I was a teacher in Sydney, in the eastern suburbs in Atam and also Ataman on the North Shore. And I was very lucky. I won instant scratchy and won $50,000, and I came to Bali for a holiday, and
Wow,
I've never left. So
that's
very
incredible. What
lucky.
a story.
So I was very lucky, and I moved to Bali and just felt that this was really an amazing place and a beautiful place to live. And
Mm,
I met up with some families that were wanting to set up a school.
mm.
So I did. I set up a small school in Sanur, which is now turned into the Sanur Independent School. And back in 1999, I was approached by the Australian Independent School to come and work for them if they would like to come over and work as a high school teacher. So I started with the school back in 1999, and with 8 students. And in 2007, I was very lucky to be given the position of principal, which I've been doing since.
Wow, since then, that's exciting. And you've seen it grow and so many wonderful changes, which, yeah, I absolutely love hearing all about the new things that are going on with the school. So when I come and visit, it's very obvious. It's a beautiful, welcoming community, great atmosphere, and obviously you've got the academics, but so many other things going on as well. So how about if you could just share with us a little bit more about the school philosophy, the values, and yeah, and how you've seen the school grow over the years. It would be really nice for you to share.
Well, absolutely. Well, being with the school for 25 years, it's been amazing to see, as you say, the growth of the school. We started with 8 students back in 1999, and at the moment we've got 320. We're in a purpose-built school, facilities that is built for around 650 students. So we've still got a lot of room for growth, and we've just opened up our new high school building. So basically, the school was founded on the philosophy of inclusion.
Mm.
Our founder, Penny Robinson, back in 1996, was looking for a school for her daughter with Down syndrome, and she wasn't able to, so she decided to set up her own school. So that's what the school was based on, the philosophy of inclusion, where we basically accept all students and take all students regardless of ability, sex, religion, or educational background. So we basically, like all Australian schools, cater for the individual. So we really work on developing a pathway of curriculum for all students.
Mm.
With that, our vision is that we aim to create confident, capable, and socially aware global citizens that are able to contribute to the community wherever they live. So I think we're very successful reaching our vision, and we do this in an environment of respect and where we don't have students meet the curriculum. We work on developing the curriculum that
Mm.
can also meet the students' needs.
Oh,
So
wow.
very inclusive and also rigorous. So we have students who may have be on a modified or a differentiated program to students who are being extended. So we cater for all ranges and all of that. And we basically, our values are that we ask all of our students and school community to be respectful, to be responsible, and also to be empathetic and caring. And I think we have such a diverse community that we are very true to our vision and mission.
That's beautiful. And so having a bit more clarity around the curriculum, and obviously the pathways, you've got you, but you actually target or have the opportunity to have young early learners right through to seniors. So that's really exciting, including vet options and all sorts of things from us Aussies love to know. So can you tell us a little bit more about the curriculum? Because it's so unique on the island, of course, that you can easily transfer, and so forth. So can you tell us a little bit more about the curriculum?
So we do start from 3-year-olds right through to
Okay.
18-year-olds. So we do
Mhm.
have an early years program. We have a primary school, high school, and also a senior school program. The early years is we follow the Australian framework for young learners, early years framework, which is basically based on play-based learning
Mhm.
for early children, like most early childhood centres around the world, where we're looking at um, developing the individual to be ready for school. So there's a lot of pre-reading, pre-writing. It's about being social, being able to take turns, and starting to be independent as you move into foundation, which will be then where we do the Australian curriculum right through to year 12.
Mhm.
So we follow the Australian curriculum version 9, which is the latest version, which basically covers all areas of English, mathematics, your science, your humanities, your history and social studies. We teach Indonesian as our
Mhm.
language other than English because we're in Indonesia. We also have a fantastic PE and health program, and we also have an amazing program through health, which is called Keeping Safe, which is our child protection curriculum that we
Mhm.
have throughout the whole school, which is quite a unique program that we follow, which really is about empowering all of our students to
Mhm.
making sure that they are safe, and if they're not safe, that they're able to tell a trusted adult.
Mhm. Mhm.
So on top of that, we also have our visual arts programs. We have um, PE. We've got an amazing multi-purpose court, and there's also for our Indonesian students, we do civics and religion, agama, and also Indonesian studies.
Mhm.
As we move into the senior school, we do the International Baccalaureate. So we're also an IB World School, so which is quite an accomplishment, which is great, which we're very proud of. And so for our year 11 and 12 students, their pathway into university would be through the IB program.
Mhm.
So we also realized that um, not everyone wants to go to university,
Mhm.
and there's no other really option other than schooling till year 12 in Indonesia because you aren't able to work and get a job until you're
True.
18. So we developed a vocational education pathway. So
Mhm.
through a company in the Northern Territory, GTNT, which is one of the leading providers of vet courses in the Northern Territory, we have a hospitality program that we have students complete. There's a business management course, and part of that also we do a barista course, which the kids love doing before their gap year. So they go
Yes.
up. We've traveled the world as a qualified barista. So we, and that goes again to our philosophy of catering for everyone. So we
Mm.
realized that there was a gap there and that we did fulfill that through vocational education. And we also have a
Mm.
school-based program as well
Mm.
that's used if they're not wanting to go into university.
Great. And I also remember the performing arts, so that's a big one as well, the
Yes,
music side of things.
correct. Every 2 years, we do a whole school production. This year we did Matilda, which was a great production. So we do every 2 years. They used to be every year, but they're just getting bigger and bigger. So we've now done it every 2 years.
Oh.
Every other year we do an amazing talent show. So
Oh.
we will put together performing arts for performance for a couple of hours for the community. And we also have an amazing art exhibition at the end of every year
Mm.
to raise funds for the charity that we work with, Bali Children Foundation.
Fantastic. And so what about extracurricular activities that you offer?
So we do have amazing extracurricular program. So throughout the whole week, on Mondays and Fridays, we have Bali Bulldogs, where a location for a venue for them to do their football training. We also have the IB Diploma Talent Studio, who work with us on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoon for our students. We also have Klim Swim, a swimming program, which is run by Michael Klim, one of Australia's famous Olympians. And that program is on a Tuesday and Thursday. We have engineering for kids on a Wednesday. So there's so much the kids can do. On a Tuesday and Thursday, we also have more school-based programs, which change all the time. So we also do a lot of sporting. This term we're doing a lot of volleyball because we're part of the Bali School Sports Association. So
Yes.
this term we play against other schools in Bali in volleyball. Term 1, it's basketball. Term 2 is more athletics and swimming. And term 3 is football.
Wow, you've got a busy role there and a busy
It's
school,
busy.
John.
It's busy.
Very busy. Wow.
We found out because we're sort of in the middle of the island in a sense where we're in the middle of the east and west coast. So getting to us was a lot of people travel to get to us, which is fantastic. They drive past other schools on the island to get to us, which is great. But it was the after school activities that they were finding it hard to get to. So we asked a lot of these companies if they would like to use us as a venue. So it ticked all the boxes for our parents, saved them having to drive around the island.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. That's great. And so, a bit of a day in a life. We could visualize if I was going to bring my 8-year-old to join the school or my 14-year-old, yeah, just a little bit of a day in a life of, Bali island life plus school life and going to the Australian Independent School. What does that look like?
Well, it would be very busy. So we start our school day at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
just because of the temperatures, which I know is earlier than most people would be used to in Australia, but just because of the temperature and where we're located geographically, we start earlier, so we're not, it's not a long day. So basically at 8 o'clock for our early years students, they will arrive around 8 o'clock. Their formal classes start at 8:30. So they'll have some play and social interaction until then. And then they'll be basically, as I said before, doing a play-based program where they have a lot of different workstations. They'll also do a perpetual motor program where they're developing their fine and gross motor skills throughout the day. There's a lot of interactive play stuff. So there'll be a lot of water play, sand play for the young kids. Our preschool 3 students, our early years 3 students, would normally finish their day around 12 o'clock, and the 4-year-olds would go to around 2 o'clock. So they would also have, they would also use the library that we have. They're also doing PE out in the MPC, the multi-purpose court. They also do a bit of swimming. So there's all different things throughout their program. The primary school would be very similar. They would start at 8 o'clock, but they would finish around 2:30. And throughout their, they'll have a classroom teacher, but they'll also have specialist teachers. So they'd go to a specialist art teacher, Indonesian teacher, specialist PE teacher, and also a specialist music teacher. So they would be not only just having their normal classroom teacher, but they would get to experience the teaching styles and classrooms of other teachers, and they move around the school. So it's quite interesting and it's quite unique because we do have the 3 and 4-year-olds, and then we've got the 5 to 11-year-olds, and then 12 to 18-year-olds in the high school.
Yeah.
So in the high school, they do start at 8 o'clock, but go to a little bit later till 2:40. And the big thing there is that they don't have just one teacher, like all high schools around the world. They would have their own English teacher, maths teacher, science teacher. So it's very different to their high school. The high school building is quite dynamic. There's a lot of movement at the end of every lesson. So it's a great space to be. And some of our new parents, when they do come, they sort of go, oh, you've got the primary school and the high school students together. And it actually works really well. So a lot of people who come from a school environment where it might be just primary school students, and then they go and leave to another location for high school. And here that doesn't happen with us. And like most international schools on the island, the space is integrated. So they have different recess times and lunch times, but they really look out for each other. And I think one thing positive comments I always hear from parents is how well our older students interact with our younger students. So it's a really nice, caring environment where everyone looks out for each other. So it's a busy day. We might
Yes,
have
it
kids
sounds
in the
like it.
pool. We've got an amazing canteen where we have jungle toppings supplying lunches for us. So there's always something happening. It's
Mm.
never quiet.
And so also, you mentioned obviously different subjects. So teachers, you've got obviously Indonesian teachers and you've got international teachers. Can you tell us a little bit about the teaching team that you've got?
So we've got an amazing teaching team. I would say probably the best on the island. I've been lucky to be with the school for 25 years, and I think our music teacher, our primary school teachers, music teachers also been here for 25 years. And most of our teachers have been here for around 5 to 15 years. So
Mm.
they really enjoy our school environment and our teaching environment that we have. We've been lucky over the last year and a half that our board's been very supportive of the school's growth.
Mm.
So we've been able to expand from when we moved to this new purpose-built campus. I think we had 14 expat teachers. We now have 27. And
Wow.
next year, that's growing again. We've got around another 6 teachers that we're employing so that we can fully staff all of for our maximum growth.
Mm.
So we're being forward thinking instead of employing people along the way. We're going to have them from the beginning so that we don't need to worry about employing people along the way.
Mm.
So
That's a strong team.
it's a strong team, and we also, our expat teachers are some very much the backbone of the school is our Indonesian teachers.
Mm.
We also have a lot of teaching and learning assistants who support kids who might be working on a different learning program,
Mm.
but also who support the teachers and the teaching within the
Mm.
classroom. So
Mm.
they're all qualified teachers. So they've all got either like a Bachelor of Education or a Master's in Education in the Indonesian education system. So they're qualified and expert teachers that really support what's happening in the
Mm.
day-to-day life of the
Mm.
school.
And you're talking about learning support. So anything else you wanted to share about as you said, the different models you're using, the different plans, the support team, special needs that people might have. It might
Sure,
be dyslexia. It could be all sorts of different needs that people have. So yeah, from a learning
absolutely.
point of view.
Sure. So basically, one thing that's quite unique about the school is, as we talked about before, the philosophy, our inclusive philosophy. We also have everyone in mainstream classes. Kids who might have specific learning needs, they're not taken out of the class. They're all mainstreamed. So we look at the support within the classroom unit so that they can access the curriculum. So we've got specific students in, say, our learning support program who have got TLAs that work with them. We also have an ELD program for students who come to the school with limited or no English. So we're developing their language skills so that they can be
Mm.
successful in the classroom. We also have a student counsellor who works with all students from preschool right through to year 12 to support any students with extra needs. So it's all um, basically catered for. So we've got so much support
Mm.
that we cater for all needs. I'm very proud of our inclusion model um, that we have been operating since day one. It's
Mm.
like that, it hasn't changed. One of the things I say about our students is they are very empathetic and they look out for each other and they're really supportive. And I think that's because majority of our classes may have a student with a specific learning need. So
Mm-hmm.
they've had a lot of exposure throughout their school life.
Mm.
And it's sort of something that everyone really accepts the diversity within the school.
That's so beautiful. So, talking of diversity, nationalities, the community, could you share a little bit? Obviously, majority, I would say, Australian teachers or teaching community would be Australian, but maybe not the students and the parents. So, I'd love to know the mix at the school.
Oh, so it is very mixed. We've got around 31 nationalities represented in our student body. We've got teachers from Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Ireland. So we've got a mixture,
Mm.
and that's also changing next year as well. So we're very lucky that when we started, we were made predominantly Australian teachers, but over the years we've expanded that to a bit more diverse in our teaching,
Mm.
where we come from, where our nationalities. What's one of the things that, of course, we aren't just 100% Australian citizens. There's Indonesian, we've got Japanese, we've got Korean, we've got American, South African, South American, European. So it's just a big melting pot. And it's just amazing from that. There's so many teachable moments that just come from all the nationalities of a school. And that's what I find is really interesting, because we utilize our differences and our similarities, not just from where we come from, but beliefs and abilities within the curriculum to really support and make us global citizenship. So we're not a school that's just living in a bubble of just being Australian centric sort
Of
of thing.
course. And on that, now is a good point to talk about the Balinese culture and
Oh,
being amongst on the island, and how you guys incorporate that in all the beautiful festivals, and the learning of the language and all the cultural opportunities. So tell us a little bit about how the school integrates the Bali life.
absolutely. So we celebrate Balinese and Indonesian culture all year round. Our biggest highlight of our calendar would probably be our Independence Day, which is normally around August 17th, which is a great celebration that really showcases our Indonesian community and really brings our parents all together. We also, Ibu Kartini is one of Indonesia's famous heroines. So we celebrate her in April. There's a Kartini Day. There's so many celebrations throughout the school calendar for so many religions as well, that a lot of them have what's called a Tanggal Merah, a red day, a public holiday. So a lot of the kids will say, why are we off tomorrow? And we'll say, oh, it's the ascension of Jesus Christ. So then that becomes a bit of a teaching moment that we talk about the different celebrations throughout the year. We also have a philosophy that when we do have excursions, or we're going on camps, or we're visiting locations throughout Bali, is that they need to have either a service element that we're giving back to where we're going to, or it's cultural.
Nice.
So we're really wanting to make sure that it's not just we're going for a walk up in Jatilui, which is famous rice paddies area in Bali, but along the way we might pop into a various NGO and get kids to find out what they're doing, or looking at how a certain business might be looking at sustainability in the area. So, and giving it a big Balinese link to whatever we're doing.
Yeah, and also the language. You speak the language, or you have to do it, is it twice a week at school throughout the whole time?
So in the primary school, we do that twice a week, and in the high school it goes up to 3 lessons a week. So
Okay.
for all of our students, you will do an Indonesian studies program, which is not just language based. You also find out about the various different areas of Indonesia. You're looking at traditional costumes in the area. It's also done through food. So it's a very big thematic approach, especially for our beginners when they're learning the language. We also have an establishing Indonesian class, which basically highlights the language and gets you to the next level from a beginner to maybe a more advanced level. So that would be more into the grammar side and the writing and reading of it all.
Great. And so from a parent community point of view, parent involvement, how would a parent get involved? Is there sort of volunteering? Is there fundraising? Is there events? How to meet other parents? What does the school provide?
Absolutely. So we do encourage parents to be active members of our school community. So we love them to be on site. We love them to drop off, to pick up, to come to events that we have. They're very supportive. So when we do have events, the Parents and Friends Association will either run the food or drink stall, or they may organise various elements of an event that we're putting together. We have an annual trivia night, which is always a fun night of getting the community together at the beginning of the year. And there's so many events throughout the year where people can come support the school, volunteer. And, as I said, we really encourage it. We also have parent reps there's parent representatives for every class in the school. So they also help with communication. So instead of just our weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday, we may have a parent rep meeting and they will filter out information to the community.
That's so nice. And so, any advice for families thinking of moving to Bali, choosing your school? Any sort of tips now that you've been on the island for so long? What would you share for families that maybe are touring now, coming later, or a little bit nervous? And yeah, any of those sort of key questions that you probably get asked that you might be able to share some advice with us now.
The most popular question at the moment is the traffic as terrible as they say?
Yes.
Um, and the answer to that is it can be.
Hmm.
It's not
Sure.
always, to be honest with you. Um, but look, I would just recommend for people to research,
Mm,
to come and visit before
mm,
committing,
mm-hmm.
obviously. You know, it's an amazing place to live. And, you know, as I said, I've been here for 32 years and I still love it. And what makes it amazing is the Balinese people.
Mm,
And we're very lucky to be here. But I would really, yeah, do your research, check into what is the best area for you school-wise, and really come with an open mind. If you're coming and expecting it to be everything like it was where you've come from, you'll be disappointed. So having an open mind, become part of the community wherever you are,
mm,
and really embracing that move, you know. And
yeah.
yes, it is very touristy and it gets busy throughout certain periods of the time, but
Mm.
30 minutes up the road, you can be away in beautiful rice paddies and, you know, get to Old Bali. We're very lucky that we do have amazing schools on the island.
Mm.
So the best obviously is us. We've got the best facilities on the island, and we've just moved into this campus in when it was 2018
Mm-hmm.
for the
Beautiful.
pandemic. So
Yeah.
we've been here for 7 years. So it
Wow.
is an amazing school. We've got an amazing facilities, football pitch, swimming pool, multi-purpose
Mm.
sports court. Everything's there, and we've got a new innovation hub happening next year, which is fantastic.
Oh, that's exciting. What does that entail?
So it's going to be what would be called, most people would call a maker space, where kids could go in
Ah.
there, they'll be doing robotics, they can work with Lego, they can work with building. It's very science orientated,
Mm.
mathematics, engineering, art focused. And we've also, which is we're very excited about, introducing a new AI curriculum from the early years, from the 3-year-olds right through up to year 10. So
Very exciting.
very exciting news.
Excellent. And so finally, to get in touch with you, and also just before we get in touch, could you explain the calendar that you're on? Because
Sure.
it's different to the rest of the
It's
schools.
different.
And so if someone wanted to come midway or turn up in January, but maybe turn up in June, and so how the school, yeah, enrollments work, the calendar, and all those sort of key questions and tours and things like that.
So we are operating on the Hemisphere timetable. So we
Mm,
start in January and finish in December. So the end, we normally start around the end of January
hmm.
and we go through to mid-December. So we have 4 terms a year and we also have 2 semesters. We accept enrollments all year round. You don't have to
Right.
start at the beginning of a term or at the beginning of a semester. We've
Hmm.
got someone who's joining us next week, which is the third last week of the school year. So they're joining us next week and starting the process. The best way to get in touch with us is through our admissions team. So which I know your company also have all of our information, but it's
Yes.
also on the website if anyone wants to find out from there. But best to go through our year in Bali. They will be able to help
Yes.
you get in touch. We have school tours all the time. Every
Mm.
time we do an open house, which we invite families in, new families on the island in to come and have a look at the school. With students transferring from a Northern Hemisphere school year to a Southern
Ah,
Hemisphere school year, we normally don't see any problems with that at all.
right.
So they might, depending on where they are with where they are in their learning, depends on which year level they would go
Of
into.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, we do
Fabulous.
have an assessment test that we do before enrollment, but that isn't to work out if academically would accept
Mm.
or not. It really is just for us to see where an individual fit into the cohort that they're going
Of
into.
course. Okay.
So it's just really used for us to find out what a student's strengths are or
Mm.
areas that might need some help.
Sure. And is there any particular like wait lists or anything like that? How far in advance would people need to reach out, do you think?
We're very lucky because we've just this year we expanded our primary school and we're expanding next year our high school. So we don't have wait lists anymore.
Right.
So one of our classes in the high school is at capacity is 24, but next year we're splitting that into two classes. So we're not single streams anymore, which is fantastic. So we do have space for people to come.
Oh, great.
So we're ready and open and ready
Yeah,
to take
fantastic.
enrollment at any time.
Excellent. Fabulous. Well, you've been so helpful. This is a fantastic resource. I hope people will really take the time and listen to this fantastic interview. I'm super excited to visit you again in the new year, and you're finishing off in a couple of weeks' time. So I hope you have a great break. Thank you for answering all my lovely questions. You're doing an amazing job. The school is providing such a beautiful resource for people on the island, whether it's for a year or for a few years or to graduate. It's such a great choice. So thank you so much for joining me and spending time and giving me all these wonderful details and information to hopefully help other families make a really great choice and enroll with AIS. Thanks so much, John.
Pleasure. Thanks for your time, Simone.